Welcome to the ValsPOD, where we're covering the Valspar Championship like a fresh coat of paint. I'm your host, Tobin Walsh. On today's show, we have Ronde Barber. Ronde is the former Tampa Bay Bucs great. He's a finalist for the NFL's Hall of Fame this year, and he's the vice chair of the Valspar Championship. Here's Ronde.
How are you, man?
Man, I'm great. It's good to see you, and I appreciate you taking the time. Vice chair is no easy responsibility this time of year, right?
No, we're all very busy. Probably not. I'm not as busy as our general chairperson, I should say, Jim Eisch, right now. But still very busy. It's just we always get excited this time of year and somewhat anxious. You really ready for the event to take off, but you also have to be a little bit of, there's always that little bit of caution to make sure everything is going as planned. But things are looking really good.
Good. And so we'll get back to the Valspar Championship in a minute. I want to hear about all your involvement, all the different things going on, all the different preparations we're doing here at Innisbrook. What I first want to start off with is Tampa Bay, baby. So, hey, listen, as a former Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buc yourself, NFL great, Buc legend, Ring of Honor member. What was it like watching your team win the Super Bowl this year with Tom Brady?
It wasn't as good as actually playing in the Super Bowl. I can promise you that. I was joking with my wife. We went to the game, and we were sitting there saying to ourselves, "This is an awesome experience." Obviously. To watch our team that we root for still weekly win, but you're sitting in the stands, you're just kind of, that was cool, but it was a lot better when I was standing on the sideline in a uniform celebrating this. But no, it was it almost felt like it was inevitable to me, just the way the season played out. Without the off season, with so much change had happened with this football team, bringing in a new quarterback. By week 12 or so, I kind of figured that they were on a collision course with the team that had beat them in week 12, which was KC. And that's how it played out. And they were the better team. They were the better team in the second half of the game they played in November, and they were definitely the better team in the Super Bowl. So kudos. Yeah,
I mean, it had to be really cool. You're a local resident, member of Innisbrook, of course, part of the Valspar committee. I imagine as a former Buc, I think it sounds like your bar is just set so high. Like fans like me, I mean, we can just live vicariously. You've been there, done that, so it's kind of old hat sitting from the box,
Oh, it's in order to be successful, you have to set your bar high. Do you not?
So there you go.
I think we've been waiting as a community for the Bucs. I mean, obviously, the Lightning. You talk about Tampa Bay. The Lightning have had some success. The Rays have had some mild levels of success. The Bucs have been a long time coming. It's been 13 plus years. For us to feel what it's like to win a playoff game, and it's finally here and great. I mean, I loved it. I love being part of it. I love watching it. I love being able to say that that our second championship is as exciting as the first.
Yeah, no kidding. And it had to be a neat weekend for you with everything that coincided with the Hall of Fame and things like that. So you made the finalist list. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I know it isn't the ultimate goal. It's not putting on a gold jacket yet, but hey, it's in the offing. I sort of feel it. I've been telling you that for a few years now. They're going to come to their senses, man.
They have to eventually.
But, I talk to setting your bar high. I mean, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, the bad part about waiting on the Hall of Fame is there's nothing else you can do about it.
Yeah, you can't get any more interceptions. But you probably could.
Any more interceptions, any more sacks. I can't do anything else. So it's out of my hands, and I think I've resigned myself to the fact that the things that I can control, I will control, and that is not one thing that I can control. So
I hear you. Yeah, let's step back onto the golf course, a different kind of course for you. Something actually you're pretty darn good at too, by the way, is playing golf. You're also pretty good at helping out with this Valspar Championship. Like you said, we tee off April 29th. Mm-hmm. Everybody's looking forward to the event. We're heavy in prep mode, heavy in last-minute things. So talk about your responsibilities. Talk about your involvement with Innisbrook.
Yeah.
How did you come to this day?
I've been a member at Innisbrook for quite a while. Got probably, how old are my girls? 18 and 19. So we've probably been a member there for 13 years, 12 or 13 years. And, I was always a fan of the tournament, through the various name changes. I would find my way out there, but it wasn't until ProLink Sports took over and Tracy West became the tournament director that I started to have some bigger involvement. And initially it was just coming out and hosting a couple of events for her, making a presence on the course during the week a couple of times for her. But then 5 years ago, during Les Muma's last year as general chair, he asked me if I wanted to be on the board, and I hadn't been a Copperhead before that. The host organization, Copperhead Charities, I hadn't been a Copperhead, but he asked me to be on his board, and I accepted. So through Keith Robinson, who succeeded him, and then Jim Ice, who took over after Keith. My role is probably what you'd expect it to be. We have Celebrity Pro-Am. I'm in charge of that event, now 2 events, because we have one on Sunday and Monday this year on the 25th and 26th. So celeb recruitment, I'm now as vice chair. I'm on the executive committee, and I had been working towards some of the executive committee stuff before I became vice chair. So that's generally my role. But like much of the board, we're all sponsorship driven. Our ProLink Sports and Tracy and her staff, they run the tournament. They do all the heavy lifting. She's a superstar, as you know. She's probably one of the best in the world at running an event. So our board and us in general, we're just raising sponsorship dollars to get our numbers up so we can give, our 2.2 on average, 2.5 million to charity every single year. And that's, it's a challenge, especially in today's in climate and environment. With COVID this past year, it was even more so. But I think we've succeeded in getting close to our goal, and I think this tournament will be better than we anticipated, considering that it got canceled a year ago.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was just, I was on property last year, the Tuesday before the decision was made at the Players, and the energy around the property at that point in time, and I sat down with a couple of people talking through some tournament stuff. The energy was so palpable. You could just feel it. You could slice it with a knife. And then to have that ruling come down, I could just imagine you all was so gutted.
That's that's an understatement.
Yeah,
And we were
imagine.
pretty, not just gutted emotionally, but as an organization, we were somewhat in pretty dire straits. Because we had a full build, we were the tournament most affected, probably other than the Players. Most affected by the shutdown, because we had allocated all our funds towards the build, and then having zero revenue, and having a responsibility to our sponsors, not having given them any of their deliverables. We needed some help, but thankfully we have very good partners, and I'd say partners in terms of those sponsorships, the people and the companies that have been with us for years. They stepped up and helped us through this, and it's only going to make this year better and more rewarding, to be honest with you, because like you said, last year felt great. It felt good. The field was good. We knew we were moving dates, so it was our last time in March for a while, and then next thing you know, nothing. So this is a long time coming. The tour has been very good to us. They've helped us through this process, but we cannot wait for April 25th, I'll say, because that's really the essential kickoff. But April 29th through May 2nd is going to be a great week for us.
So you're really interested in the early week stuff as well as the late week when the pros tee it up on the 29th. So you're in charge of the program, so your team's going to be stacked, right?
I don't know about that. I'm going to be on a team. Well, I'm going to try to pick a team that's going to win. I think I get a say in who I get to play with. But no, I'm playing in all 3 programs. 2 of them as a celebrity, obviously, because I'm still a celebrity, even though I am vice chair.
Yeah, there you go.
And then one of them
inarguable.
Yeah, and then one on Wednesday, which is our the normal pro-am. I'm playing with a buddy of mine who's coming in town from California to play. So that'll be fun. A little bit more relaxing than the work that I have to do on Sunday and Monday. But to your point, what we've always tried to do, and this is kind of Tracy's initiative, and why our tournament is so well received, is that it's not just a golf tournament. It's an event. Our entire week, we classify it as an event. There is no concert this year, but that's part of what we do. That's the event. The Monday and Sunday and Monday events are just a part of that. Before we had this other pro-am, we had a 5K run out on the course. So people could sign up, and that was growing exponentially year in and year out. And so we get all these runners to run the course right the week before it's going to set up as it's set up with all the chalets and the course and all its splendor. And that was the event that kicked it off. So COVID prevented that from that event from happening this year. So we put together another pro-am for that Sunday, and
Oh, that's a smart idea. I'm sure you're heartbroken seeing your face when you had to run the 5K.
That is not my forte, man. As you know,
You were good. You were good, and you have like hardly a knee, hardly a shoulder. But the problem is you got a big target on your back. Like my kids are like trying to pick you up. Hey, where's Ronde? I want to beat Ronde.
Yeah, right. You could see the guy I'm the guy that looks good for about I don't know, a mile, and then those last two are just survival.
Yeah. Well, the worst part about your job during the 5K was always after. Like you had a guy like me going, "Let me interview you." You're dripping with sweat. You just want to go get a cold beer, and then you get a cold beer, and everybody wants to selfie with you.
There's worse things.
Well, let's go back to the turn. Yeah, there you go. So let's go back to the Valspar Championship. Let's talk about, give me some good memories you have of the tournaments you've been involved with.
Well, the best memory is 18. It's everybody's best memory. Yeah.
Oh, Tiger.
When our needle, moved all the way to the right of possible influence when Tiger showed up. That was, it was a great tournament. It was so much excitement. So many people around here hadn't seen Tiger Woods play, not unless they traveled to see him. And last time he was here prior to that was when it was a J.C. Penney. It was a team event, a mixed gender team event. So it was you talk about palpable. That was palpable. It was just very cool, to be around and see how he affects our event. Because look, we've had great tournaments, without him. But it was exponentially so with him. But in terms of, memories, I think my first year really, and I wasn't on the board yet, was Jordan Spieth's year. That was when he was, rising, just jumped on the scene and was like taking off. And his first win of his career was here. That's something we'll always have. I remember thinking, wow, this kid's going to be good. And then, he wins,
who knew?
Wins a couple majors, and, and that kid who won our tournament when he was, I don't even know how old he was, 21 or 22 years old, was all of a sudden one of the best players in the world. So that's one that sticks out in my mind. We've always got a good feel. We've always had, great players play here, but I do remember 2019, the year after Tiger, when Paul Casey won for the second time. And then we have since gotten to know Paul Casey a little bit because he's our two-time defending champion. That was pretty exciting to watch him come back, having the title, and then have to come back and win it on Sunday for a repeat. That was pretty cool, especially sitting on the 18th green with all our Copperheads and some Innisbrook folks. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, I bet. And so let's turn to this year when we're going to make some memories later in the month. So last time I spoke to you and we placed a bet on who would win, it had to have been 19, I suppose, after the race. And you went with Dustin Johnson. At that time, he had just committed. And he's back, amongst our great field as always. Koepka, of course, Paul Casey, all the big guys are here. So are you going to go with DJ
Yeah,
again, or
well,
who are you thinking?
Kepka's pulled out because of injury. So,
Okay, I figured it was
but our
iffy.
field is very strong. DJ, you got to consider him a favorite, even though he missed the cut at the Masters last or a couple weeks ago, last week, I guess. But Justin Thomas committed. We have a always strong field. I think we have 18 of the top 50 golfers in the official world golf ranking. Patrick Reed will be here. Henrik Stenson. We keep getting Bubba Watts that have come here. And we got some past champions, Carl Schwartzel will be here. KJ Choi's playing. I haven't heard his name in forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
What about my guy, Zach Johnson? He's my guy.
Zach Johnson's here. Brant Snedeker, Louis Oosthuizen, who's swing. I love that guy's swing. No, it's gonna be fun. But to make a prediction, I would be remiss if I didn't say Paul Casey. He's got to.
Yeah, I
He's got
hear
to.
you.
He's got to
I
prove to
know
me that
it's
he
one of these
can't
things.
win.
Exactly. It's one of these things. I start thinking about it, and I'm like, just kind of the nuts and bolts you have to win
Yeah,
here. And just he knows like every piece of this course.
sure.
He's won it different types of ways. I don't know. I mean, Jason Kokrak at Media Day sort of convinced me he could maybe win
Yes.
it. He seems pretty determined. I don't know.
Jason was fantastic at media day, but I kind of agree with you with the statement you just said about Paul. This is not a course, and we talk about it often. It's not a course where you have to be a bomber. Short guys that don't hit it as far can play here. You have to work the ball both ways. I mean, it's a challenge with the elevation that most players don't normally see in Florida. It's a golfer's course, man, and it's a second shot golf course. There's some tough greens to hit here, and Paul Casey's proven that he can do it. So, like I said, until someone else goes out and beats him, he's still my champion.
Okay, that's fair. Last question. So we're here with Ronde Barber, Bucs great, vice chair of the Valspar Championship, Copperhead, all around good guy. So Ronde, so let's say a pro comes up to you and sort of softly says, "Hey, you play here a couple of times a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a couple inside tips." What are
Yeah.
you telling them?
What are you telling them? Let's see. Well, I play for position on the first par five. That's
Number one?
no. I'm sorry, the second par five, the number one handicap par five.
Oh, the big
Yeah,
uphill.
yeah. Number five. You got to play for position there because you can lose that hole if you're wrong off the tee. Secondly, on the ensuing hole 6, play it down the right side, so it gives you a good, because it's going to bounce left, so it gives you a shot into that green, because that green's one of the tougher greens out here, because you're playing off a side hill line, hitting back the other way. And really, play the best strategy around the Copperhead course is to play for the middle of the greens. This is not a course where you can chase flags. I try to. I'm penalized often, but the greens are not so big that you can't make putts from the middle of the green, and that's one of the challenges here. You don't want to miss these greens short-sighted in the rough, because they did overseed. Some of our agronomy is different this year. We didn't overseed the fairways. We just overseeded the rough and a light dusting on the greens of overseed. So it's still going to be that 2 or 3 inch rye laying over, and you just don't want to be in there. You want to be able to have a chance to make a 2-putt for par, or maybe find a way to sneak in a birdie.
I love it. I love it. I bet some guys will heed that advice. I mean, like you said, the undulation of the Copperhead course is something that until you stand on it, it kind of takes you aback. It doesn't feel like Florida.
Well, it's not a course you can overpower. I know that. That's the guys that have tried to do that. It would not work here, because if you miss a fairway by 5 yards, you're playing a different shot than if you're 5 yards less. So it's a great challenge. I think that's why it's one of the most revered courses on tour. One of the ones that the players year in and year out say is one of their favorite challenges. So It's reflected in our field. It's reflected in our champions, low scores. There's not going to be a 15 under 4-day tally that wins here. It's usually 8 to 11, and that's significant over 4 days. So.
Excellent. Well, like I said, Ronde, we really appreciate your time as you're working all these different things for the Valspar Championship, and your servitude to Tracy West and her team is commendable. And all of us spectators and all of us people walking the grounds are benefactors of that work. So I really appreciate the time, man. Hey, I'll see you during the tournament.
Absolutely. I'll see you out there, Toby. Take care, man.
All right. Thanks. Take care, man.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I'm Tobin Walsh. Thank you for joining the ValsPOD. Look for our future episodes and follow along at The Good Bad Dad on social media platforms, or at Valspar Champ, or at Innisbrook. We'll see you next time.